Welcome everyone to Winning Mondays with KW Malaysia. My name is Mariah. I'm the Regional Training Coordinator at KW. So it's been like a month of holidays, right? We had Hari Raya, Wesak Day, and I hope you're all rested up. Last week, we also had Red Day. Who took part? Anyone here take part in Red Day, either by donating or volunteering, or maybe you gave some money? If you did, can you type a 1 in the chat? I'd like to see who here was helping out in that. Awesome. Yes, we have lots of people here. We got 4 so far. Great. So, okay, for those who don't know, Red Day is a day in May that happens every year where every market center in like all of KW around the world, they all make the effort to give back to the community. So you should be really encouraged that if you took part, you're actually part of an army of volunteers like around the world with 56 countries, all doing this at the same time, the same area time. And yeah, just making a difference in the world. Okay, I just want to share. So, you know, this Red Day is really in line with the KW mission. Especially the last part. So maybe we can read this together. So our mission, right, is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. I hope you guys just feel very proud, like I do, to be a part of a company that does such great work, you know, in this world. So for Malaysia, right, this year's Red Day was really, really special because since joining KW in 2019, it's the first year that we can actually hold Red Day in person. You know, the last 2 years, we just can donate items, like we donated laptops and things. But this year we get to like, you know, get our hands dirty and like actually, you know, get involved and help the people. So this year we have donated new and used toys and had volunteers from all 3 of our market centers to go down and support this group called Play Unlimited. They provide toys and learning opportunities to underprivileged children around the country. And as you can see, we had a lot of volunteers and there was no end of work to be done with cleaning, sorting, repairing toys, games, books, puzzles, and even boxing up, you know, and delivering some toys as well. So just a big thank you to everyone who took part in this. You know, we will continue to keep you informed of any other opportunities where you can, you know, take part and give back. Okay, so let's get started with today's topic. Today we are starting season 2 of Winning Mondays. Hopefully you guys saw season 1. If not, you can find the videos in our YouTube. So this season is strategies to grow your business to greater heights. And today we'll be doing achieving more with great talents. Okay, before we get started, actually no, I want to introduce first our awesome guests. So we have our favorite CEO and COO, Jonathan Lee and Christine Ong. Just want to say hi to you guys.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me on the show that I will be in week after week, but thank you so much.
Christine, hello.
Good morning, everybody.
Great.
John is the main star.
He is though. He is our star. He's our YouTube star. Okay. So okay, I wanted you guys to be here. I'm gonna launch a poll to get everyone's mind wrapped around this topic, right? Okay. So here we go. We have a poll. Hopefully you can all see. So about growing your business. Do you want to grow your real estate business this year? Yes, I want to achieve more. Maybe I want to grow more, but I don't have enough time or energy or resources. See, I'm content with my current level of success and income. And the second question is, have you ever considered hiring an assistant to help you in your real estate business? So either yes, I've already hired someone. Oh, you read my mind. I'm trying to hire someone right now. Or I want to hire, but I'm not sure when is the right time or how to go about it. Or no, I'm planning to stay a solo agent for life. Okay, so while everyone's filling that out, John, do you want to just, for some people who don't know you, just give a quick update on like how your background in real estate and what your role here is at KW?
Right, so my role here as the CEO is to do everything that everyone asked me to do. or so let me rephrase, pretend to do everything that everyone asks me to do, and I make sure everyone else is doing the things that you're asking me to do, right? So that's my role. But in real estate, I have been this is probably my 17th year in real estate business. Fairly successful real estate business, selling real estate on my own as a solo agent. Started to build a team in 2005, 2006. Around 2009, 10, was a team of 20 people with an admin. And we were roping around 2 to 3 to 5 million ringgit GCI per year, roughly for that few years. Every year, minimum 2 to 3 million, and then I think the peak was about 5 million. So understanding the real estate business at the level where people can relate to the current market situation. Of course, it's a little bit different back then, but that was kind of my real estate business. My average sales per month in the team at its peak was about 16 transactions per month.
Wow, that's great. Sorry, guys, I just realized somehow the poll got ended before anyone, like 2 people filled it out. I'm just launching it again. Sorry about that. So if everyone could just try and launch the answer the poll now. Only 2 people answered just now and it got ended. Sorry about that. Okay, great. Okay, Christine, how about you? What's your role here? And yeah, tell us about your background a bit.
Hi, I'm Christine. I am the Group Chief Operating Officer. So my background is, unlike John, who had a real estate background, or rather he did sales. I didn't come from a sales background. I actually studied communications, marketing communications. So that's my background. But I have been with the company, I think, for many years now. I think that day I was thinking about it, I think almost 8 years, I think. And I was like, whoa, time has passed so fast. I cannot believe that it has been 8 years or so. But then as I look back, and then I think back about what John usually like to tease me about the fish story and everything. It's been quite a journey. And yes, here I am. What do I do? The joking version is I like to tell people that I have to deliver or make sure that everything that John has promised people, promised the agents, I have to make sure that all these things, are being executed. So that's what I usually joke about, right, with others. But yeah, I work together in a team of great people. It's called the regional team, in which Mariah is also a part of. And I think I work very closely with them to ensure that all the strategies, the plans, and the things that we have said we want to execute for the company gets done, so that together as a team, we all reach our goals, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
very good.
yeah.
I think I agree. I don't think it's that John does everything we tell him. It's more like we do everything he tells us. Nice try, John. Okay. I'm going to end the poll here. And we got, I think, 40 people that have answered. So we can take a look at these answers. Okay, this is interesting. So a lot of people want to grow. Yeah, most people want to grow, actually. That's encouraging. Okay, then you're in the right place. You're in the right session. You're going to learn something today. Yeah, and some people are saying they don't have enough time, energy, resources. This is great. This is why we're here, to teach you how to leverage and how to grow with the limited things that you have. Okay, and number 2, okay, most people say they want to hire, but they're not sure about how to go about it. Okay, so maybe we can talk about that today. Yeah, some people have already hired, some don't plan to hire. That's fine also. Cool. Do you guys, any thoughts you want to share about this, John or Christine?
No, I think it's a good way to kind of start the conversation, and maybe Mariah want to kick us off with the first question.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Okay, so I want to ask you guys, decide strategies to grow your business to greater heights. So when you think about this, what is the mindset we need to adopt if we want to successfully grow our business? How should we be thinking about the topic of growing our business? What do you think, John?
Yeah, for me is number 1, you must constantly evaluate where you are right now. So this is a good time to checkpoint, do a check, not a checkpoint, so do a check on your business. So when I mean doing a check on your business is go back to the GPS and the plan that you planned in the beginning of the year and ask yourself, how far are you from the goal? How far are you away from your goal? Are you at your goal? Are you ahead of your goal, or are you behind your goal? So you need to understand that first. And you need to be very clear in the next 7-8 months, you have 7 more months to go for the end of the year. What does that look like? Right? Get that number correct. And I think a lot of times we don't spend a lot of time inspecting what we are doing, where we are. We are focusing on the day-to-day stuff. We forget to focus on what we are. Even in the region level, I can tell you honestly from ourselves, from my perspective, we are very far away from our goal. I can tell you very, very far. I'm very honest with everyone. But it's good, at least I know I'm far away from my goal. Because when I know I'm far away from my goal, or I know I'm near my goal, or I know I'm ahead of my goal, I then begin to think about what should I do. Right? So I think that's the first thing. You know, you want to grow your business, you must always constantly be aware where you are in your business at what point in time. Because that is important, because that will determine where you should spend your time and money and resources on. I don't know if that answers the question, but that's how I look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, so obviously you have to have that goal, and then you're gonna reevaluate. Okay, so how does that connect to growing your business though? When will you know if you know? Yeah. So
then you will realize that, am I really, assuming last year you did X and you want to do 30% more of X, or 50% more of X, or 100% more of X, whichever number, that means you want to grow. Likely certain things that you are doing is not helping you to achieve your goal.
Okay.
Right. And there are 2 types of things that normally it's not working very well, or it's not, sorry, my mistake. Let me rephrase. It's not that it's not working very well. It's not helping you do more than you were doing last year. So a lot of us, right, go into the business thinking, oh, I want to grow, double up my business. I just work double it harder. Okay. That may not be the truth. Right. That is a myth. Because doing more of what you did last year may not get you more this year. I give you an example. An agent, this is a famous story. One agent used to come and tell me, I want to increase my production from 400,000 to 800,000. But I'm working doubling hard, right? So I deep down and I inspected what is he working on that is double down as hard, right? And that is basically he's having more appointments. Great. Then I start inspecting what's the value of the appointment. What do you mean? What's the value of the appointment? Like, what's the opportunity value per appointment? So if you want to hit your 800,000 at 400,000, that person was still doing 2,500 ringgit rental. So you have to 10 times that or 100 times that to hit your goal. It's not possible. It's not realistic.
Right.
So you need to really understand what you're doing right now. Is it helping you doubling up what you were doing last year, or it's not? Because being busy and working very, very hard is not the only way to succeed. It's not the only factor to consider. Does that make sense? So you got to be reevaluating your business that way. What am I doing right now that I need to do that can double up my business tomorrow? So let me rephrase back to the real estate business question. What do I need to do right now that will double up my lead generation? Example. What do I need to do right now that will increase my exclusive listing?
Right.
Because if you are not asking these questions, you are just doing for the sake of doing, then you are not going to hit your goal. Likely, the probability of not hitting your goal is very high. That makes sense.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you got to figure out your numbers, or you wouldn't even know what direction to go in. Christine, do you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with John. I think that everybody needs to be clear on what they want to become in the future, right? And not just go through the motions of working day to day. Of course, I mean, they can do that, but at the end of the day, we all only have one life to live. That there must be more purpose even in our work than just going through the motions and day to day, right? And I feel that when we talk about goals, being a part of the academy team or the regional team, I have personally experienced what it really is to work but not be clear on actually what we're achieving, versus right now when we are working but everybody in the team is very, very clear on where we're headed towards and what we're achieving. I feel the difference. I see that there is a difference even in how we function as a team. So I think knowing your goals and having a goal to begin with is actually something very, very important, not only for the journey of their business, but even in their personal life, right? Which is why even out there, people usually say that, hey, you know, at the start of the year, try to have some goals, even though if you don't achieve it and you know you may not achieve it, right? Some people say that, yeah, no need to make lah, because we know at the end of the year, come 31st December, we'll look at our goals and then we will tell ourselves like, we didn't do anything about it, right? So then people usually think to themselves, don't have to even bother writing it down or coming up with anything. But the reality is that if we don't, and if we're not intentional about it, then we will always kind of like live life very aimlessly.
Yeah.
In that sense, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just getting a picture of like we might have this purpose, like we want to achieve certain amount of money we want to earn for a purpose, right? Because we want to spend more time with family or whatever. And then we get all caught up, like you were saying, John, like just make more appointment, just do this. And we forget about the main point, actually. We're trying to do something specific and we can get lost in that. And then we're not even achieving either of our goals in the end. So important to think about that first. Great. Okay, so now we bring in this idea of, okay, we want to grow. Let's say we're clear, we want to grow our business. So what about this great talents thing, you know, achieving more by bringing people in? What is this relationship between, you know, great talents and growing a business? Yeah,
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. So I think, and everybody is at a different spot right now in business, right? So I think the average real estate agent, this is just what I think. And this is what I've been studying, the MREA book by Gary Keller. And it says like, if you are not hitting 16 transactions a year,
okay,
right, you are not fulfilling, how do I say this? You are not on a trajectory of the right pathway of running a real estate business, because 16 transaction is like a basic volume. It's like a basic benchmark to say that, hey, I have achieved a certain milestone. So I would encourage everyone to set yourself a certain milestone, and then the average is about 16 transactions. Now it could vary in a different market. For example, if you're doing a very high-end network or you're doing industrial property, which is a very high network, maybe 1 or 2 transactions will make sense. But I'm giving a perspective, right, of 16 transactions. That's why we set the cap at 123,000, because that was the like, you want to come into this industry understanding that that's the minimum that I want to achieve.
I see.
That's the benchmark that I want to pass. And the industry, because you don't want to come in here into this industry, number one, to set the tone correct, right? You don't want to come in this industry just to make ends meet. You don't want to think about, oh, I just want to earn a certain amount of income every month, right? And of course, there are some people who want to do that, that's fine. But I'm saying if you want to do better, and most of us here today want to grow in this call, that's why you're in this call. And I'm speaking to the people in this call and beyond this call that is looking at growing their business. That's why we are talking about growing. You must think about how do you achieve your first benchmark, which is the 16 transaction. Then you go to the 36 transaction. Now, my argument is, if you have not passed 16 transaction, you can't hire anyone.
Okay, very practical.
You can't hire anyone at all. But the idea of talent, right, is who then can you work with to be part of to be able to hit 16 transactions, or who can you have to coach you or to teach you or to help you in order for you to hit your 16 transactions. Nice. Because that's about talent, right? Talent is not so much only about me hiring someone. Talent is about how can I also be in the midst of talented people. Do I have a talented solicitor? Do I have a talented banker? Do I have a talented accountant that can help me and my client? Do I have a coach that is talented enough to teach me and coach me how to achieve my first 16 transactions? Or from 36 transactions onwards. Now, I'm arguing people who are doing 36 transactions onwards a year, which means you're doing about 3 transactions a month. You should be thinking about having an admin. That's how I look at it. That's really how I look at it. So it's not like, oh, let's do real estate. I haven't started anything. Let's hire my first admin. That's not the right approach. Because the challenge I see most agents is, I don't want to do all this work. I want people to do for me. Now, you can do that if you can afford to do that. When you can't afford to do that, you have to be the one that roll up your sleeves and do the work. Right. So I think there's this misconception that agents say, I only want to do the things that I want to do. Now, that's a luxury, and you earn the right to have that luxury when you are having the 36 transactions a year. Okay. Before that, you don't earn the right, because it's going to be not viable to hire the right talent to do your work. That's just my thought.
Nice. So up till 16, don't hire someone. But get involved with the right people, the really good people, the talented people. Once you're like 36 around there, you can consider hiring. Nice.
Correct. When you're doing 2 to 3 transactions a month consistently, right? Not 1-2 months, but consistently, that's the time you should think about how do you scale. Because from 3 to 6, to double up to 3 to 6, you need help. Definitely, you definitely need help.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Christine, do you have anything to add to this? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think John said it. I think the idea is for, I guess the reason why we're talking and sharing about this is also for everyone on the call to know that that's a direction that they all can head towards, right?
Right.
For them to reevaluate where they're at and really ask themselves, who do they want to become even in the business. And like what John is sharing, after you hit your 16 transactions, the idea of growing a team, and if that's what they desire and want to head towards, if that's a goal for them, like maybe either in a year or 2, then at least they know what is a benchmark, or a milestone that they can actually target and head towards. But I think the idea of hiring talents is because when you want to expand your business eventually, there's no way you can do this on your own. Right. That's why even in the regional, we work together as a team. It's not a John Lee show, not a one-man show where he does everything. He may be saying a lot of things at the front, but actually behind he has a lot of little engines working behind the scenes to help create all these different values or to help move things along, right? So the idea is that if eventually the agents want to expand their business, then they need to also realize that they eventually would need to leverage on people. And part of leveraging on people is to then look out for great talents to be a part of their team so that their team can start growing. Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Which makes me think of our KW belief, right? Together, everyone achieves more. Our teams, that's right. Okay, I want to get practical because I think everyone here is very practical. So actually, so we're going to go into like actually how you go about, getting involved with people and all that. But before that, can you guys share some experiences that you've had with hiring talents to grow, to grow your business, successes and failures, everything goes. I would love to hear stories. I think everyone loves stories. Go ahead.
Yeah, I will tell you this failure, and I tell this failure story a lot. How I hire someone. My first hire, this is when I was, let me see how old I was. I was 25 years old. It was not too long ago, right? It's not too long ago. Now I'm a little bit older than 25. So I put out an ad on the paper. I was doing about 3 transactions to 4 transactions a month. Right. I was managing about 200 listings. I was just a single agent at the time, one agent. And then I realized I needed help to organize my database and organize and I'm very bad at administration work. I'm very bad at Excel spreadsheet. If ever you were to trust me with an Excel spreadsheet, do not trust me with, do not make me a person that's able to edit the Excel spreadsheet. Do not do that. You share Excel spreadsheet with me. They all know, all my regional team member knows. The minute I am able to edit an Excel spreadsheet on Google Sheet, somehow I'll mess it up, right? So I'm not good at all this stuff, right? And I know I need to scale, because if I don't manage my database correctly, I need to scale it, right? So I advertise on the newspaper and I say, hey, I'm looking for a certain person. And for some reason, I always prefer female role in this role. There's just some experiences that I have. And I want English speaking, and I wanted someone that knows how to use the computer, right? Now, this is 2005. At that point in time, having a laptop was still a luxury to a certain extent, right? So I say, laptops provided, everything is provided, and I want someone to know how to use the computer. And that was the ad. The idea was, I wanted someone just to do my admin work and do my sorting out of my Excel sheet and all that. And I was willing to pay about 2,000 to 2,500 ringgit salary for that role. This is 2005, by the way. So lo and behold, the first person to respond to the ad met me. I hired her on the spot. I was so happy. I said, yeah, there you go. It's not that difficult to hire people. So next day she came to work and I told her, my first task is for you to sort out all my listings in this category that I draw. I'm very bad at doing computers, but I can draw on the board very clearly in not so nice handwriting. So I draw it out. This is how you should build that columns and all that, and go do it right now. And I asked her this question: how long do you need to do this? And she said, oh, I'll do it just right after lunch. By after lunch, you can come back and inspect, you'll be ready. So I was happy. I was telling my wife, say, yeah, I got someone already. And she was looking at me, she said, let's see what happens after that. And true enough, when I came back, the interesting thing is she got it all sorted out, but the margins was missing. So when she printed out for me to take a look, there were no margins, there was no line. I said, where happened to all the margins?
All the lines are not there, right?
Yeah, and then she said, oh, okay, hang on. Okay, I'll come back 1 minute. Okay. So I thought it was a mistake, right? Because me not knowing what Excel works properly, right? Wouldn't know, right? I wouldn't know what I don't know, right? So she came back, and as I look out from my desk to her desk, what I saw, she took a ruler and a pencil and start drawing the margins. Right. So therefore, for a moment, I was thinking, oh my goodness. And I start reflecting, right? So I asked her, come here. I want to ask you this question. You don't know how to use this? He said, no, I don't know how to create margins on Excel. I'm not sure how it works, but I will learn. I said, but you say you know how to use computer. Yeah, I know how to use computer. I can use Windows. I know how to use computer. So then I realized that I wasn't very clear in the kind of person that I want to be in business with at that point in time. And I realized that it was my fault that I hired the wrong person. Because the idea is you should hire a talented person that could take away the load from you, not you go and try to help them how to carry the load. So that I realized, because it was my fault, and I apologized to her. I said, I'm so sorry. I think that I did not manage expectation and set the expectation correctly. I think it's my fault for not clearly defining what it is important for you to be able to do. Right. And because of that, I don't think we are meant for each other. So here's 100 ringgit for your time for half day today. I'm so sorry. I don't think we can work together. This is just not going to work. So that was the first and the biggest lesson in leadership that I learned, is that if you're not clear on what you want to have in your business, you're going to be very frustrated.
Right.
Right.
You have to be clear what skills you want, what expectations you have, and all that.
Correct. So that was an experience that I had, and I realized that a lot of us go in there not understanding what's the kind of person we want to be in business.
We don't even know ourselves what we actually
know ourselves. Yeah, we just want this problem to be gone away.
Right.
We just want to can we discharge all these things and outsource all these things so that we don't think about all these things anymore?
Right.
And that's not possible in running a business.
Okay.
But you got to find the right talent. You got to find the right talent that could be the solution and create even more value for you in your business, right? So I think that is what I'm learning as I'm proceeding in this later years of my business experience. Yeah.
This is a very, very sad story, John. Such a sad story. No, it's actually quite funny lah.
Yeah. So here's a good story, right? And tell you a good story, right? So as we enter into the technology realm, the area of being technology, right? Running technology, I was the de facto technology leader the past 2 years. Now, this is something that I want to share with everyone. It's not about you don't know how to do it or you don't understanding how to do it. It's that you need to learn and understand the whole concept about what you're trying to do in your business. So for example, if you are learning how to, you want to create, you want to manage your database correctly. Now you need to go down to the ground and try to understand what does that mean to you, right? You cannot just pass on to someone else and hopefully everything will be okay. It won't be okay because that person doesn't know what you want.
Okay.
So in order for you to know what you want, you need to be down there and try to do it. So I was down on the ground working on technology for the past 2 years. And it came to a point when we are grown to this size, we realized that I need someone else to be inside, a talented person that could take over my role and should do 10 times more of what I can do and should actually solve more problems than what I can do. Then it's worth bringing on that person. And that guy came, our Chief Technology Officer, Nicholas, who has been fantastic, phenomenal in the past 5 months, bringing a lot of changes to us and bringing a lot of new technology solutions for all of us like KW Activate. And you'll be seeing some new launches this week for some of our products that we are bringing into the agents. And he is driving it very hard, but it requires me to understand what we need so that I can communicate with him, right? So when you're hiring an admin, the first admin, I argue that most things that agents want to do today is listing management, lead generation, database management. So you need to know how does that look like first. And you got to get your hands dirty on it there first, right? Before you pass on to someone else. I think a lot of times we don't want to get our hands dirty. We just want to get someone to come in and quickly take it away from us.
Right. Otherwise, we don't know. Yeah, we don't even know the scope of the job.
Yeah, because if you don't understand, you won't know how to lead that person in that role.
Right.
Right. So that's just my thoughts.
So if the first girl you told her, you know, we are not meant for each other, it means you and Nika, it means he was meant for you, isn't it?
Yes, I think so. I think so. Matchmaking in heaven, I think so.
Wow, so romantic. Okay. Christine, do you have any stories you can share as well?
I think I've had I've had in time past I've hired interns that didn't really work out very well. Okay. But I will share with you one scenario whereby this is not an intern, but it's someone that we was in the process of thinking whether we wanted to hire that person. We had done an interview and honestly, the person could do the job and the role, both in the marketing sphere as well as in the training. He had the ability to actually contribute in both based on his experience. But when I had my initial conversation with him, what I felt was that the person, majority of the time, the person was kind of like complaining a lot, especially on their previous environment, previous leadership, that kind of like the posture and the way the person responded was very complaining, right? And a lot of negative things to say. So long story short, I went through a second conversation with the person and I brought in two other colleagues, right? Because I wanted feedback. And then after the whole entire process, then I just asked, so what do you guys think, you know? And they all said that, yeah, I know the person could possibly do the job. I think we see the potential. I think if we give that person the task, definitely the person can do, right? But then they had that same feedback. And actually at that point of time, because we were kind of like lacking in resources, so in my mind, it's like, let's just give this a try. I mean, I like, you know, but like 90% of me said that let's just give this a try. What harm could it do, right? If 3 months it doesn't work out, then maybe, you know, like we can just like have the conversation with the person and then agree to just like not confirm him, you know, and then part ways, right? Because at that time we were like, okay, we had quite an opening for two different types of roles. We needed more help. So in my mind, like whatever help that I can get, I just want to have somebody that, you know, like kind of like an extra pair of hands, right? But then what I did was I kind of stopped myself, and then I kind of took a step back and I tried to remember again all the things that we learned at career visioning, you know, when I went through career visioning, and I realized that I cannot make the decision based on my emotions and what I'm feeling at that point of time. And I think the reality is that when we're hiring, usually the mistake that employers make is that because they're desperate, because they need an extra pair of hands, then they don't care what extra pair of hands it is, as long as it's an extra pair of hands that can do something. And at that point, usually people will feel that anything they can do, like, it's okay, like, you know, as long as can do something, right, it's good enough already, because they will need help, but not realizing sometimes what the repercussion of a bad hire can look like. Because the repercussion of a bad hire can actually be a lot more detrimental, and there can be a lot more issues, but sometimes they don't realize it. They don't stop to think about it, and they don't ask themselves, okay, what does the repercussion look like? Until you actually really go through it and experience it, then you will realize that you hired the wrong person, right? But by that time comes, sometimes a lot of time has passed, and so time has been wasted, and money also would have been wasted because you would have paid the person, right? And then you will have a lot of problems, because then you need to think about, then how do I let the person go, or how do we part ways, or how do I have the conversation where I tell the person, like, you know, this is not working, right? Like bye-bye, you know, kind of a thing. So yeah, so fortunately, I managed to, like, okay, I don't think I should not be emotional about it. But yeah, I think John would agree that in time past we've had hires that has been emotionally draining for us, right? Because whatever they are going through affects their performance, affects what they can actually contribute, right? And then sometimes it ends up being like we are like a therapy session or a counselor on top of, like, you know, being the employer, which then is again, it's a waste of time, and it's not only draining for that party, it's also draining for us, and it will take away the things that we should be focusing on, right? And it takes away how fast we can move to actually head towards our goal, or to do the things that we want to do, right? So yeah, so I think these are some of the things to sort of like think about. And yeah, I mean, we have definitely experienced quite a number of these kind of situations. Yeah.
Wow. This is a really helpful. I think everyone will find this to be a very helpful story, helpful advice. Yeah, who here is finding this helpful, to think that it's not just about the skills and the resume, but the person themselves. You need to know them, right? You don't want to get in business with someone who's gonna bring down your your team, bring down your emotional level and all that, and you're able to get success. Okay, so you know, people say there's many that want to start, but they're not sure, is it the right time? How do I go about it? So even this topic of when is the right time, you mentioned 36 transactions. Is it like you hit 36, you hire? Like how does it work? How do you know when is the right time to consider hiring?
Yeah, so I think looking at our cash flow statements, like, are you having cash flow to fund your business for the next 6 months?
Okay.
Right? Are you or 3 to 6 months? Are you having that kind of cash flow the next 3 to 6 months? Do you have the kind of cash flow in your budget to fund up your business? That's number one. So financial perspective is very important. Financial stand is very, very critical in your business. So you need to be very clear if you are able to fulfill that in the next 3 to 6 months. Then number two is you will realize that you have no much time left. Like, you're doing so many things that there's no time for your family, there's no time for your business. Now, I argue again, this is a lot of times that things can be mitigated with technology, right? So I give an example today. There are still for some reason, there are still some people who like to line up at a bank. Right? Because then you say, I'm busy, but my argument is, no, you are going to the bank twice a week and you are lining up for 2 hours to enter the bank, because it's now very long right now, right? So rather than doing that, could you go online banking, for example? Are you using digital tools or technology that will smoothen your day-to-day routine? I think you'll come to a point when you are struggling with managing the leads, managing the database, managing your listings, and not enough time to do all the marketing work because you are busy talking to people. Because a real estate agent's fundamental roles is to build relationship.
Right.
Your job is not to fundamentally look at the computer screen every day. Now, that is necessary when you are starting. That is absolutely necessary that you are starting, because you need to know all those things before you pass on to someone else. But as you grow up to 30 transactions, 36 transactions a year, that is when you begin to say, how can I scale up my lead generation? How can I get more appointments with owners? How can I get more appointments with buyers? Right? So I think that will be the time. You will know the time comes when you are not able to scale, or when your business is just stuck, it's not growing, right? It's just stuck. It's either you are not efficient in your time because you're spending too much time. I can see some people, right, spending time talking to owners for 5 hours, which I used to do the same thing. My wife always say that I'm a very long-winded person. I talk a lot. So it could be us learning how to use scripts to talk for half an hour. How can you have an effective conversation in 30 minutes versus 5 hours, right? So if you have squeezed all those things down, and then you will realize I got not enough time, that's when you probably need a support or assistant.
Okay. So I hear you saying you have cash flow for the 6 months, and then thanks, Christine, for putting in the chat. Yeah, and then looking at your time, and once you've like tried everything else, like all the other ways of paring down your time, then you still need, then it's a good time to hire someone. Great.
Right. Or another good example is you suddenly missed out a time to do marketing. You suddenly don't have enough time to do your marketing, your ads. I don't know about how many agents here. How many of you have actually thought, I should have advertised this by no time. Then next week, someone advertised and sold the house. How many of you experienced that before? If you have, please press 1 on the chat box. That's probably, here you go. That's probably something that most of us as agents will experience one. You thought you could have time 1 more week to advertise. But then, never mind, never mind, next week, after Raya, and that becomes a problem, right? So when you are having that kind of issues, and you're making a lot of money, and you're having the kind of issues, likely you need help. Likely you need help, because we always like to put away the things that we don't like to do and do the things that we like to do first, right? And it's just natural, right? And as agents, all these things are very remetame, very tedious. Things that takes a lot of time, that I need to go back to my house and on the computer, turn the internet on the internet again, and you got to do all these things to make it work, right? And that is something that has to be done consistently. So if you're not getting that done, either you time block it in a week, or you consistently put it in and allow someone else to do it for you. That's where you think about leverage already. This is the time when you think about leveraging already.
Nice. Christine, I want to also ask you what, considering it's the right time to hire, what role should they hire first when they consider doing this?
I think when they consider doing this, especially for agents, because we are talking to a group of agents. I personally feel, okay, so there are two different roles, I would say, that the agents can consider hiring. One is a very administrative kind of a role. And then another one, which is a role that in the Keller Williams model and system that we have, it's called an inside sales agent, right? But these two roles functions very differently, because an admin kind of a role will really focus on very administrative matters, like all your database management, paperwork, right? And they may not touch as much on the marketing aspect, but agents who are of a certain level of production, they would want to think about somebody who could also do the marketing aspect for them. And when I mean marketing, I mean not only just managing the listings on the various platforms that they have, like iProperty, Edge, Property Guru, but also think about like running campaigns for them, branding their little business, right? Which then means managing maybe the page, the Facebook page that the agent would have, helping them to generate leads, right? And then once they generate leads, helping them to really even qualify the leads by calling up these leads, finding out more information before actually then passing on the lead to the agent. So if you think about all these things that the person has to do, is really beyond just admin. And what we encourage, or what we advise agents who are actually ready to hire, is that instead of just hiring an admin, which sometimes can just be like a personal assistant, right? Why not, go like take the next step, pay a little bit more, hire an ISA? Because when you hire an ISA, chances of them doubling their business is better, versus like, I just want an admin role, right? Because you're talking about talent, you're not talking about just filling up something that would take away just a little bit of like your time. I think you want somebody to really assist you, so that the agent can solely focus on the external, like going out, meeting the clients, building the relationship with the clients. So actually the back end part, if they really sit down and think about what do they actually do at the back end, it's actually a lot. It's a lot more than just paperwork, right? So if they're already wanting to hire and they have the resources to hire, you might as well hire someone that can do both. So you don't need to think about hiring 2 person. You just hire 1 person, and that 1 person is a good
Right.
talent because
Right.
that 1 person can do these both aspect of things for you.
Mhm. Great. John, do you want to comment on this? I saw there was also a question in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea is the first fundamental part that you should think about is you hire a person because you want to scale.
Right.
You don't want to hire a person because you don't want to do the job anymore. Because that mindset is a very different thing. If I don't want to do the job, you will take over it. I don't care what happens, you take it over it. But if I want to hire a person that want to scale, then I'm thinking now, how can this person help me scale from 3 transactions a month to 6 transactions a month?
Mm-hmm.
What this person needs to do? How is the attitude? How does he or she looks like? Right? What is the quality that am I looking for? Because you must be very clear. Administration job, right? It's just because you think you are not good at doing it and you don't want to do it, not because, and don't think that it's not important. It's very important, yeah, by the way, and it's very valuable as well. Do not devalue the person that's doing that job. A lot of times I see people coming in to hire this kind of people. I want to pay, but that's only admin only, ma. It's not like that. Because you're going to think about this person as your empire builder. He or she is going to help you scale your business. So example would be managing your database. I think that's your number 1 thing. Lead generation, that's number 2. Marketing and collaterals. Marketing and collaterals is number 3. So these are the things that you need to think about this person that's able to hire. So that I argue this very simple question, right? If I want to hire someone of certain quality, that person must have a good job or good working experience, right? And that kind of person will demand certain amount of compensation. Right. So I think that's where we need to think clearly. How can we scale the business? But we are doing this to scale our business, not to make our life better. If you do it that way, right, I can almost tell you likely you would not reach your potential and you will feel very frustrated because you are not clear. You're not bringing this person in to grow. You're just bringing this person so that I don't have to work so much. That's the challenge that I see a lot of people are frustrated right now. So, and I think that's the differences between I wanting to hire to scale or hire so that I can do less. Right. So scale, don't get me wrong, you can still scale by doing less, but your mindset must be about scaling. Right. Nothing wrong with doing less. Yeah, I want to do only Mondays to Fridays. I don't work Saturday, Sunday. It's okay with that, but you must make sure that when you get the person in, then in order for you to allow yourself to be in that position, you must scale that business.
Mm-hmm. And can I also add that having that perspective will also determine how you manage and train that person in that team, and the effect of it would be also how long the person would want to stay with you, right? Because when the person comes in, if like, let's say I'm the one that's being hired, and if I come in feeling that I have a lot of opportunities to grow, and that the person that hired me really has my best interest in wanting me to grow, then the chances are I would want to stay longer versus that I'm only here just to do this job to just so that, I just free up that person's time, right? So then the sustainability of having that person in your team is actually longer. Then you don't have to go through the trouble of like, after 1 year, that person bye-bye, for example, and then you got to go through the whole entire cycle looking for another person, which is actually something that a lot of people face as well, right? That the person that they hire don't stay long enough, right?
Yeah, and the other thought is, if I train this person up, after he learn from me, he will leave and do something else, and he become a competitor. Then how? Yeah. Then my answer to that is always because you did not build a world big enough for that person to fit in. Right, you need to be in conversation with those people, your talented people in your team, and find out what is it that they're trying to earn, what is the income that they want. If working with you only give me 50,000 a year is not sufficient for him, then he will leave automatically. So meaning your business is not big enough to fit that person in, and it's only natural that they will leave. So I argue a lot of us today is if you are thinking of trying to make your goal small, sizable enough for you, and to fit just the right person, it's normally not going to be like that because talented people demands more. Right. And it's their right and it's the right thing for them to demand more because I want to have more because I know my value, right? So build a bigger world, a bigger business that can fit them in so that they will never want to leave you again because your world keeps growing bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right.
I think that's the key here. Now, let's go back to the practical side, Mariah. Let's talk about, okay, if I hire this person, how is this person going to help me make more money? It's very simple one. I tell people it's very simple. It's all about getting the things the numbers that will help you achieve your goal. If, for example, in order for me to hit my goal from 3 transactions to 6 transactions a month, I need to have 25 more appointments a month. Example is that.
Yeah.
So then that guy that you're hiring in right now, or the girl that you're hiring in right now, has to get you that 25 appointments. Whatever they are doing, have to give you the clarity of how they're going to achieve it together with you to hit that additional 25 appointments. Because if you can't get that person to do that, or that person can't work together with you to make that happen, likely he or she is not the right candidate for you. Right. For example, right? So it's as simple as that. That's why your GPS, your numbers is very clear. We should think about, okay, if I get this person in, how many numbers appointment do I get?
Yeah.
Right. It's as simple as that. The challenge I see today is a lot of single agents that I experience and have conversation is with today, they are not holding themselves accountable for that themselves for their own selves. That's why it's very hard to have that people to hold accountable to those people as well, because I myself are not practicing it right now. Right. So I think that's where I think we all need, as real estate agents, we need to know our numbers very well. When to scale your business, it's all about the numbers. Everything is numbers related, right? Not feeling related. A lot of times we get into the feeling related perspective. We are more driven to feeling than numbers, which is our challenge. And because by default, somehow, somewhere, we are all leading towards that. The achievement of certain things, but we want that feeling, but we don't want to look at the numbers that will help us achieve the goal. But we like the feeling, right? So there's a disconnection there.
Right. I like you just, you're talking about scaling, right? And all that. So I hear you saying, you have to have that plan in advance. Like, you don't just think, okay, I just want to hire someone to take off this role. I'm tired, but if you have that plan to scale, then when you hire somebody, you know this person, maybe they're not the last hire. There's going to be even more hires, right? So you want that person to even have that ability to be really a part of your team, that they will become a senior person and there'll be someone junior under them later. So it's great. It's really helpful. Right. And you mentioned, okay, you keep mentioning about, they're going to demand a higher salary. If you get a talented person, they're going to want more, right? And otherwise they're going to leave you and you're going to be back in the same place. So everyone asks this, right? How do you pay them? Like, what's a good compensation for your first hire, and what's the structure so that they can grow? Any thoughts on this? Yeah.
So the idea of sharing more money with the people when they grow your business for you. For example, you pay that person a basic salary, and probably every transaction you do, you give them a cut of that particular transaction. So for example, it could be your basic salary is higher, of course, your fixed remuneration for every transaction could be 500 to 1,000 ringgit, for example, right? But the most important thing is all of us must be aligned with the goal. Assuming I'm going to hit 36 transactions this year, I want to hit 50. The minute I hit 50, I'm going to bonus you 50,000. So there must be an opportunity for that person to drive your business together with you. Because when everyone is rewarded, right, everyone is clear that, okay, if I help you to get your goal, this is my win. So we must structure our business in a way that we are giving bonuses at a certain threshold or certain checkpoints, right? I argue you don't have too many checkpoints, but 2 to 3 a year would do. For example, it could be half yearly, quarterly, annually, and it could be a one-off bonus. That month, if I have more than 6 transactions, you get a bonus 2,000 ringgit. Right. So what if he helps you double up the transaction, right? You get a bonus 2,000 ringgit. So depending on your business that you're running, right? What's your financial and your economic model in your business? How much money you can take aside to bonus people? I like the bonus part because when people are motivated for reward, that's the right person to hire. When a person says, no, I don't want so much reward, I just want a fixed salary one, maybe it's not suitable for your role at this stage. Because in the beginning stage, when you're hiring people, you want people to drive and run with you.
Yeah, right. That's great. Christine, do you have anything to add on this compensation topic?
I also, I agree with John, but I also, in addition to that, I think that when you think about the person that you're hiring and who that person is, I think that the question that you also need to ask yourself, which those who have gone for career visioning would know these three terms, is whether is that person a potential hire, or rather a potential talent, an emerging talent, or a proven talent. So a potential talent would be someone, maybe they're really quite raw, but then you do see the potential in them to grow into that role because they possess the strengths, for example, and the skill set of actually functioning in that role, right? And of course, emerging talent would be, they would probably have a little bit of experience already, and they have gone past whereby they have proven, or they already have gone past in that sense that they, because of their experience,
Right.
You see that, okay, more or less they have certain maybe like past track record to actually prove that they can do the job, right? But still not there yet, right? Then there is the proven talent that of course they would have like a lot of past track record, and based on their skill set and strengths, and also of course your conversation with them, you kind of know that this person is a proven talent.
Okay.
Right? So depending on these three different categories, then obviously your compensation would differ a little bit, right? Because
Okay.
you can't pay a proven talent like a potential talent kind of a remuneration. Then it doesn't make sense, right? Like if you know that they are proven talent, how can you compensate that? So there must be, you must also know how to value them based on these three different categories. But yeah, I think that the basic should be at least that, at the end of the year or the year after, there is some sort of like a bonus that is given, whether it's by how many months or a fixed, right? And at the end of the day, I think what would help is that when you tell that particular talent that you're hiring, this compensation is based on our target and our goal. And why the compensation is calculated this way, because it's always tied to the goal, it's always tied to the numbers. And it's also the same with the regional team. Like at the start of the year, we told everybody, this is our target, this is our goal. And if we do meet this, hey, this is the potential bonus that we as a management team can actually give to you, because we've tied your bonuses to the number that we are hitting, right? So then there is clarity in there, and there's also understanding, so that the talent that you hire knows that you're not just plucking your figure out of thin air, but you are allowing that talent to like, let's work on this together, let's journey on this together, and giving the chance for that particular talent to also be a part of reaching that goal.
Yeah. I like that. I hear a lot of we. It's like, if we can achieve this, then you also we both get to benefit.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to just add on to this. There's a case study here that I would like ask everyone to do it. And some of us maybe you've not heard of this restaurant called Hai Di Lao. It's a Chinese restaurant, that steamboat restaurant. How many of you have been there?
Me, I've been there.
Yeah. So everyone in that team gets a bonus if depending on how the business is done every day or every week and every month.
Interesting.
They are one of the highest paid salary for waiter, waitresses, and people who work in restaurants.
Wow.
Right, highest paid, very high paid, highly paid across the industry, 30 to 40% more paid. So the experiences that you get there, and by the way, you go and eat there, it's much more expensive than most places.
Yeah.
And there's a long queue outside there, a huge long queue outside there. But the people go there because of the experiences that they give you. I don't know, it was the first time I sat in there because I normally eat the cheap steamboat in Jalan Ipoh, okay, the 38 ringgit one, okay. But when I went there, people were peeling prawns for me.
Wow.
Right, they were doing stuff for me. Some guy is dancing around with the noodle.
Okay.
Right. So, but the people were very, the people that worked there were very focused on serving the customers at a very high level.
Right.
They were very committed. And I argue if you are not committed, and by the way, but when you read through the way they run the business in China and all over the world, right? Everywhere is camera one.
Camera?
Everywhere got camera one in the restaurant. And there are actually someone inside the camera room monitoring the staff's performance.
Wow.
And they get awarded points through the camera system. So in China, a lot of these businesses now are thinking how to reward their people well in order for them to serve the consumer better, so the consumer keeps wanting to come back.
Wow.
Right? Everything is a point system, by the way. Oh, I serve more people is a point system. I respond to this as a point system. So we don't know how they evaluate that, but I actually once studied a developer in China, how he look at the point system to evaluate all the salespeople and give everyone bonuses and leads and all that, right? So people are motivated to succeed by giving them opportunities and giving them reasons to do more because they will earn more. They will not do more if they cannot earn more. That's the reality, right? So go to the restaurant and observe. When you observe in the restaurant, you begin to realize how motivated these people are. And some of them walk away working in a restaurant earning 6,000-7,000 ringgit a month.
Quite good for just a waiter.
Correct. They pay above industry average, right? But they get back so much more business.
Yeah.
Try to walk in tonight to the restaurant and without any reservation, I guarantee you won't have a seat and you have to wait for an hour, right? Why? Is because everybody wants the experience. Yeah, someone says overly efficient. Because that's the way everyone is expected to perform when you are given that kind of remuneration, right? And that's where you begin to see the rewards and the fruits of the business pouring in, because you are now having the right person in the talent role. And it's demanding. I believe it's demanding. The structure they set in is demanding, right? Right.
So you mentioned I want to bring up, you mentioned like cameras everywhere and all that. So this brings me to my question of like, what's the best way to manage, and train your assistants? So should we put cameras on them? Now I'm getting scared.
I don't think then that would be micromanaging already.
Right. For our type of thing, right?
I think if you have been with our organization long enough, you know that we talk a lot about leveraging on different tools that we use to really help even in first thing, the clarity of our goals, right? The GPS is one, right? We have the GPS, or we encourage agents to use GPS, is so that everybody is clear with their goals, their priorities, and their strategies. But we also have other tools that we use, like, for example, the 30, 60, 90 template, where everybody in the team is clear, like, what happens in 30 days, what happens in 60 days, what happens in 90 days, right? And then we have things like the 411, which is a bit more suitable for single agents, because then the 411 tool is for agents to chart down in 1 week what would their activities look like, so that they are very, very clear what are some of the things that they need to get done for the week. And if there are certain things that they need to put off, then they know that, okay, I will postpone this to next week. But it is very clear on a day-to-day basis, what are they doing? What does their activities look like, right?
Right.
So these are some of the tools that we actually use, even at the regional level, to actually have that kind of accountability with one another. So again, the tool is not so that we can point out, hey, you didn't do this, for example, or or accuse anybody of anything, but it is a tool to help us as the person functioning in the role to be very clear with the things that we need to check off in our list. Then at the same time, it's also a tool that it's kind of like open for everybody to kind of see. So there is a check and balance. There is that sense of accountability, right? And then using that tool it's easier for us to get into conversations with each other, so that we know what we're talking about. Everybody's on the same page, and everybody also is aware that, oh yeah, these were some of the things that we said that we want to do for the month, for example. So all these tools are available to us. It's free. We don't have to pay for it. We can just share with you the template, so that's that would be one way. Yeah.
So we use this. So instead of having cameras that just keep up, but it's better to actually set the expectations clearly, write it all down. What do I expect from you in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? I like that. Yeah. John, did you want to add to this?
Yeah, so this is, I'm always preaching this, that managers are poor leaders, leaders are poor managers. You decide what you want to become. I argue that we should all be leaders, not managers, because lead people, not manage them. Lead them by holding them accountable. I think accountability is the one that sets people from failing and success, right? It's how good your accountability is with the people and how good you are having accountability with yourself. Who is holding you accountable? There's a model, right? Someone is holding me accountable. I'm holding someone accountable. Someone is holding that person accountable. So that accountability is critical, and only leadership holds accountability. Management don't manage people, don't try to manage their tasks, but try to hold them accountable in achieving key deliverables. Not so much of how they do their work, but how are they delivering the results that you want, because that's what we want.
Right. So you treat them like a team member, you compensate them as you do well, they do well, and then you do the, you lead them, right? You lead them, inspire them, and all that. Very cool. Oh yeah, I saw this. Yeah.
There's a great question by Joanne, and here's how I would suggest.
But let's read the question first. So what's your recommended source to find talents? Great question.
Right. I mean, LinkedIn, JobStreet, they're all great, word of mouth, but referrals is probably where we get the best hire. I think Christine will agree with me. Most of our hires are all referral based. Okay. And I can tell you, right, there are places to spot talents. This is a secret spaces, I will tell you. It's not secret anymore because it's going to be on YouTube, right? Go to the local places where they have the best customer service experience that you have.
Like Heidi Lau?
Yeah, that's one. Starbucks is one. This is a real story, by the way. I kid you not. One of our admin that I hired was because of Starbucks.
Nice.
I wanted to hire that person that worked in Starbucks, but that person instead referred me her friend.
Ah.
Right. So Starbucks, those restaurants, hotels, those customer service based for fronting ones are good opportunity for you to talk to them. And I like to ask people, so are you looking for opportunity right now? I'm very blunt. My face is very thick. That's why you can see a lot of pimples. It's very thick one, right? And I always do that. I always do that. If you're looking for opportunity, this is my name card. Please call me. I think you've got talent. I want to talk to you. Right. Because talent are everywhere. It's just how you activate yourself to look for them. It's more of offering people opportunities that they never had before. If you think about it, right? How many of your experiences in Starbucks or these cafes where you have people that really, really are talented and they are good at what they do? Aren't they the best people to consider? Because they are diligent. To be a barista, by the way, you have to have a system and structure, right? You think system, right? You cannot just flimsily put whatever coffee, drive whatever coffee you want, right? So that's the people that you can look for, right? And those are the right places. And a lot of times, people go to Starbucks because it's passion. The other thing is because I'm still looking for opportunity. I don't know what I really want. They're looking for a leader, guys. Everybody is looking for a leader. And you can show up as a leader to lead their lives so that they have a better opportunity in their lives. So leadership is needed everywhere. So my answer to Joanne is go to every Starbucks and start asking them.
Yeah. You're gonna every time I see one of you in a coffee shop, I'm gonna be like checking you out.
Correct. Because talents are everywhere. The question is, the goal of a successful business owner is bring talents together, right? Find talents, right? And they're all around. Of course, the right branch of Starbucks, correct. Yeah, but you can go and see, you observe. I always like to go to the places that knows me by name one. Right, that's my experience. If I walk into the Starbucks, most of the time they know my name already. The one that I go to frequently, right? So yeah. Yes, beauty counter, correct. You're right, right? All these people are people that actually they thought they have no opportunity, but here you go, you show up, you offer them an opportunity. Let me tell you, the win for you would be you get someone that's desperately looking for opportunity that will do all you can to keep the opportunity. Number two, you will feel very fulfilled at the end of a certain time frame that you realize that you have helped someone change their life. Trust me, it's a feeling that you want to have before you die and you leave this planet, that you are able to help someone get an opportunity they never thought they could get. Right? There are a lot of people there right now out there looking for leadership.
Yeah. Wow, very inspiring.
Can I also say that I think as realtors and real estate negotiators, you guys meet a lot of people. You talk to a lot of people. Actually, I think even more than me sometimes, because you have that platform and opportunity. So I think what you can do is that every time you talk to people and different ones and have conversations with different ones, always go in with the perspective, hey, would that person, like, is there any opportunity? May not be now, but probably in the future, right? Is that person that I'm talking to, is there an opportunity for us to collaborate, to work with, or for them to be a part of my team? Again, it may not be now, but it's something that you're always thinking at the back of your mind, so that when the time comes and you're ready to hire, right, you will always remember the person. And that is how I'm also like kind of like approaching the different conversations that I have, even with friends, right? Because I'm always thinking that, yeah, maybe not now, but if I know the person's strength, I know what the person's passion is, I know what the person can do, right? Maybe when the time comes, that there would be an opportunity for us to be a part of the same team. So I will just keep that at the back of my mind. And sometimes when I engage in them in conversation, I will ask the career visioning kind of a question, so that I know it's just more for my information, right?
Right.
Then I can, okay, KIV, and then I can shelve it, and put it in like a different jar and say that, okay, I know this person can do what, that kind of a thing. Yeah.
So you basically live your life as a headhunter, lah. You're just like always checking out everybody.
Right. And it's a constant thing, and it's also about you wanting to help people. You're coming from a point wanting to contribute, to know, understand people, so that you know what's best for them.
Yeah.
And I quickly share a quick story here. That is this particular person that I met 4 years ago, because she came down from Kluang, Johor, getting married to KL husband, and she was exploring real estate as a one of her best friend was a very successful agent in our company, and then she wanted to explore real estate. I interviewed her. I spent about an hour and a half talking to her, and I found out this was a talented person. But at that point in time, nothing came to my mind. And 3 years later, there was a vacancy in Market Center 1 as a director of agent services.
Oh.
Guess who's that person I think of?
I think we know.
Because I spent that time talking to her, and she's no other than this. How many of you believe that Eileen is a great director of agent services in Market Center 1? Those who are in Market Center, please press yes. She's awesome. By the way, she just I would say successful. She just safely delivered her first child. Yeah, new mom to be. But because we had that conversation in Subang main place for 1.5 hours, understanding what she is and what she can do, when the need arises, I remember in that split second, I said, hey, Chris, why don't you call her? Chris, remember the conversation we had? I think she might be the right fit. Right. Turns out she was the right fit, because I had that conversation and I had the opportunity to be speaking to her life, and also to understand where she is in the spot in her life, right? That was to me the winning moment when we got her on board, and it helped so many people to win our market center.
Awesome.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, we are like seriously running out of time. So what I would like to do now, I'd like to just bring up the announcements. And while I do that, can we, everyone who's in the chat, can you just share your aha for your own self, so that you just write it down, so you're very clear what you learned from this session, and then also to encourage our dear John and Christine. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So next week we have session 2, and it's going to be like serious girl power. I hope all the girls come out, ladies come out and encourage us, because John is away. It's the only time he's not going to be here. So it's me, Christine, and Wei Li, and we're going to be talking about getting organized with leads and with tools and like GPS 30, 60, 90. You can hear more about that, how to use tools to leverage and do more. And then after that, the 2 following weeks, we have market insights to market share and the power of measuring your progress. Okay, next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, great. So of course, we always have our value stories. We want to make value for you to share out to the world, share out to your clients, to refer people to us. You can show us what a great company we are, especially about our red day and all different things. Okay, next slide. And again, if you have any success stories, please come. We would love to share your story and share the KW love around the world. Awesome. Okay, let's come back here. Just thank you so much for, let's see, what do we got here? Any guys, where's your ahas? I don't see anything here. Okay, okay. Anyway, talking about referrals, awesome. Yes, let's refer. We can refer for each other as well. Yeah, we can share about that. Anyway, thanks everyone for coming. Thank you, Christine and John, for all your sharing. Hope you all learned something about how to, how to get great talents to grow your business. Thanks a lot, everyone. See you next week.
Thank you.